It's Beer O'Clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. Today we've got a beer from Wensleydale Brewery. And Wensleydale Brewery sent me this beer and they sent me a glass. Now I've reviewed about 4 Wensleydale Brewery beers recently. And only today have I remembered to use the glass. And that's not because I really remembered. That's because I grabbed a load of glasses out of the cupboard, brought them out here to do my beer reviews. And it just happens that I use their glass. I should have used, basically the moral of the story is I should have been using their glass 4 or 5 beer reviews ago. But I've been using it in other beer reviews. So if you've seen this glass, it was sent to me by the lovely Wensleydale Brewery. Here's a previous beer review. We've just reviewed a Bent Spoke Keep It Simple JA IPA. So we'll move that to one side and crack on with this one. This is Wensleydale Brewery's Black Dub Oat Stout at 4.4% ABV in a 500ml bottle. Real ales from the Dales. That's their slogan. Deep, dark and mysterious. I love stouts. Stouts are probably my favourite, or one of my favourite styles of beer. This one's got a jet black bottle cap. Hopefully the beer is jet black inside. Let's get the beer out into a glass and see what we get. Loads of smoke on the bottle opening. Beer in the glass. Listen to that glug. Listen to that glug. Ho ho ho. Now, some of you might remember, I reviewed, and I didn't name him, but I reviewed a Guinness Foreign Extra Stout. Homebrew, but it was the real recipe from a guy that's been with, or he's been kind of travelling to Wensleydale Brewery because he lives in the region, lives in the area. And he's just been going there, popping his head in, having a chat with them. But as I poured this, it reminded me of that Guinness Foreign Extra Stout that I reviewed a few months ago. I'd love to mention his name, but I don't want Guinness chasing after him. In fact, I can't imagine Guinness even watching this Wensleydale beer review. So I perhaps will mention his name. He's a good friend of mine. I'll get into it. I'll talk about him in a moment, but the head's dissipating a bit, so I want to talk about the beer in hand first and foremost. So we had a 2-finger slightly off-white head. Now we got a 1-finger slightly off-white head. Good levels of carbonation. It was a fantastic glug as the beer poured out. It's a jet black beer in the glass. Absolutely jet black. Let's get the aroma. Rich. Chocolate, coffee, caramel, plum, fig, prune, raisin. Loads of oat. Nuttiness in there. I love stouts. Let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Did I mention it was 4.4% ABV? I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Oh, fantastic. Even the police agree. Fantastic beer, this one. Really drinkable, but really it has a lovely kind of wrapping oaty finish to it. Biscuity, bready, nutty, chocolate, coffee, caramel, nutty. Not even talking about the hops yet on that finish. It's plum, fig, prune. A really, really tasty beer. A really, really tasty stout. So I kind of like reviewed the beers the wrong way round. I reviewed their Imperial Stout before I reviewed the Black Dub. And in the comments of their Imperial Stout video that I made, not for them, but reviewed the beer, a lot of people were saying, you need to try Black Dub, it's a really good beer. So for the people who commented in the comments box on my Wensleydale Imperial Stout video, saying Black Dub's a really good beer, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. This is a terrific beer, a terrific stout. You really get the oatiness, the maltiness, the roasted malt in the beer. Chocolate, coffee, caramel, roasted malt, biscuitiness, breadiness. It's a terrific beer. A creamy, oaty mouthfeel. Now, I'm going to mention his name. Don Jeffrey. Don Jeffrey's his name. I met Don Jeffrey so I was doing stuff with Brains back in 2011. They actually brought out a beer called Brains Black. I think it was 2011. They brought it out, Brains Brewery, to rival Guinness. I went to the launch event for that beer, and that's where I met Don Jeffrey. But the then head brewer, and still is head brewer then, Bill Dobson, was talking about how good this beer was and how it was a kind of a real stout. And I imagine they used Don's influence on that beer. I imagine he had a lot of input in that beer, because that Brains Black was a really good stout. So that's where I met Don Jeffrey. Since then, I've been to Poland with him. We've judged together in Poland at the Tyski Beer Festival. You all know Tyski Lager, yeah, the Polish lager. Well, they hosted a beer festival where they had a judging event, and me and Don judged together. In fact, Don led the judges that day, and he did a really good job. But of course, Don moved on from Brains, and I heard from Don back in 2022 after about 6-7 years. I actually met him in the Great British Beer Festival of 2022, and we kind of shook hands and had a bit of a hug and whatever. He's retired now, but long story short, he went back to where he came from. He left Wales and he went back up to the Dales, where he's from. And he's been visiting this brewery, Wensleydale Brewery. He's been visiting them and offering his probably 50 years of brewing knowledge to them. And I can taste a bit of Don Jeffrey in this beer. I know that sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But I can taste Don's influence. That's the right word, isn't it? I can't taste Don in this beer because they didn't chuck him in the boil kettle, did they? But I can taste Don's influence on this stout. Because, of course, Don Jeffrey used to work for Guinness, didn't he? And somebody sent me that home-brewed Guinness secret recipe stout last year, didn't they? But this is basically, long story short, this is a terrific stout. It really is fantastic. Well done to Wensleydale Brewery. Really good beer. Combining different malts gives Black Dub a rich and complex taste. Roasted coffee with hints of chocolate meets sweet oaty notes. There is a dark deep pool or dub in the River Cover to the rear of Middleton Castle, after which our stout is named. There we go. I have no idea where that is, by the way. Perhaps I should go and visit it. Wensleydale Brewery, Badger Court, Leyburn, North Yorkshire. Rating for Black Dub. I really like it. It's a fantastic stout. It really is. 4.4% ABV. Fantastic drinkability. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 from Real Ale Craft Beer. Please put your comments in the comments box, subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews, give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom! Cheers!